Okay, so first card is Melomania, 0 mana spell. Each time you play a minion this turn, add a random shaman spell to your hand. I'm
1 star.
not.
Next card. No.
Usually, interesting means bad.
No, I just
I
have a
used it
hard
as
time
bad.
evaluating cards.
It's
Like,
like the Hunter's card, Lock and Load, except it's 0 mana, which that's great because Lock and Load should
yeah,
have never costed actual mana. But
yeah.
Shaman spells are
Like shaman
kind
spells are
of.
generally okay. Like they're not bad.
I don't just want them. Like I don't. I want the ones that I play in my deck, and that's it. Like I don't. I don't want the other ones.
Mm, there aren't like shaman. Like honestly, I don't think shaman has that many bads. I mean, yeah, there's not that many terrible spells in shaman right now. Like there's a few for sure, but like I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. It just depends on it just depends on kind of how many minions we're playing in a shaman deck. Um but
Yeah.
I like yeah, I don't know. Like I like the card, but I don't think it's going to have a deck. So
Yeah.
it's likely a 1.
Yeah, it's a 1 for me. I said this in the last one too. I don't really like cards that just do things and generate random stuff. Like they're just not great. I Plus, yeah, you
In
have to play a bunch of minions. I don't know. I don't like it. It's a 1.
This is surely the card that Shaman needed to bring it back to prominence, right? Or maybe it's a 1. One of
It's a 1.
those. Yeah, no, it's a 1. That's what's going on here.
All right, next.
All right. Next card is I have to wait for the stream cuz it says saxophone soloist. Oh, I love this guy. He's a 1 mana 1/2 Murloc battle cry. If you control no other minions, add a saxophone soloist to your hand. It's not a great card, but by golly, do I absolutely love this card. The art is amazing. Um, I am a like I don't know. I love the jazz theme. I like I and yeah, it's not great. Probably won't see a lick of play, but um 1 mana that can give you another 1 mana card can be pretty powerful. Like I don't know. I'm waiting for the day where Murloc Shaman is kind of playable again. Like I know it's not going to be great, but I know that this could be interesting for a Murloc Shaman potential. And that's about it.
One
Yeah,
of
but
the best soloist cards of the set. So a 2.
it's good.
So too. Yeah, I don't like this one either. I think this is another 1. I don't get it. Like if you're playing this on turn 1, you get the value, but then you're not getting value from the next ones. I guess if you're looking for some cheap Murlocs, sure, here you go, but I just do not like this at all.
Yeah, I like it as like an
Um,
okay turn 1 play. Outside of playing this on turn 1, it's probably pretty bad. But
Mega unplayable.
it's not bad for Murloc decks. Problem is Murloc decks aren't good. They're at best fringe, which is why I decided to be a little optimistic and give it a 2.
all right. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Oh, here we go. 6.
Negative one?
Murloc Shaman. Wait, I don't remember what cards they're losing. Are they losing like all their cards?
I
Murloc
don't
Shaman was
think so. I don't think any
not.
Murlocs are leaving, right?
I don't think so. Murloc Shaman was not far away. So for like a week, Murloc Shaman will probably be decent, but like Nothing Can Stop Us is pretty good as a card.
Yep.
And then Clownfish is just an insane card. This because they don't have like they have the one forager 1 drop, and then you have the Murloc Tidecaller, of course, and then you have Sir Finley Murgleton, and then you also have Mistake, which is a 1 drop. which genuinely means that you probably just don't play this card. It's a 1.
I mean, you might want just more 1-mana cards for when are we gonna talk about this card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards from now. This card will look better.
Why isn't this a 1-3?
It won't.
Why is it a 1-2?
Yeah.
Like, who wanted a 1-2 for this?
Yeah.
Was it 1-3 too
Because
OP and they nerfed it? Like,
If it was a 1-3 though, if it was a 1-3 on 2, you could just have a 2-mana 2/6, I guess. And maybe they thought that was too strong, but I don't think a 2-mana 2/6. I mean, I don't know. 2
Nah.
health on a Murloc is pretty correct, just because Murlocs are a buff archetype. So like curving into like 1/3 coin 1/3 is
Yeah.
kind of a lot.
I don't think that's that good. I'm fine against that.
No. All right. Let's go to the next one. Flow Rider.
Okay, next card. Flow Rider.
LOL.
Yeah, LOL. 2 mana, 2 mana, 3/2. It is a Naga. Battle cry. If you are overloaded, discover a spell from your deck. I don't know. Do we actually want to ever play Overload in Shaman? At this point, that's not running Quest. I don't know because I haven't really looked at the rest of the Overload cards.
Give us a couple more
there's
cards
just-
to talk about, and Overload will look better. This set has some Overload support. It's quasi reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know what cards we're playing to overload ourselves. But yeah, I mean, I guess I think the name is great. And I think a card that can discover based on overload, like I would say, I guess we have Death Reaver Aura, we have some other cards. All right, I mean, maybe there's a world in which we're sitting looking at overload as something that's playable. So I guess I would probably land on a 2, but I mean, again, I haven't looked at all the overload cards and been like, oh yeah, this is the cards we're playing. This fits in really well. So this could be much higher, depending, because you're discovering a spell from your deck, which means it's a spell that you want to play.
Yep. I feel like it might be fringe, but I'm going to take an optimism line for Overload Shaman because there is one card that I'm pretty excited about, and it also synergizes with an existing card that could be really good. And basically, the legendaries for Shaman might somewhat enable this, and this is part of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call it a 3, which is totally not copium.
It's copium. I'm giving it a 2. What did people rate Melomania? Just interested.
1.
Low? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That's all right. Y'all don't believe in the Overload Shaman, but I will. I'll believe for all of us. This is a 4. This is one of the best cards this expansion for Shaman. Love this card. So good.
I like that you said 4 Shaman.
Yeah, I was almost about to pop off that.
Well, yeah. There's definitely some better cards in the expansion, but for the Shaman cards, this is like one of the best in the Shaman cards that we got revealed. But I think there's actually going to be some solid Overload stuff.
I think it's trash, but it's got a cool name.
It does. All right. I guess I'm going to have the hot takes for these cards. It's all right. I'll be alone in it. It's fine.
Hey, I gave it a 3. I think that's a
That is a hot
reasonably
take.
warm
You're right.
take.
You're right.
3 is a hot take.
All right, fair. All right, Ron, I'm dragging you with
hot
me.
takes on the whole Overload archetype and basically giving all
Oh,
of them
boy.
3s.
I'm dragging you with me on this Overload train. I'm going to get you to bump one of them up to a 4 by the end of this. Let's go.
Oh, well, I did already decide on one being a 4, so we're
Eh,
good.
eh,
Wait, I
see,
didn't
look,
even
I
see
already
the
did it.
legendary. Wait, the legendary is high key broken. All right. All right, maybe it's a 3.
Yo. We got him.
Yeah.
All right, it's a 3.
It's a 3. All right. There we
You already
go.
know.
All right. Next one here. Chill vibes.
All right, chill vibes. 3 mana frost spell. Restore 8 health. Finale. Summon a 3/3 elemental with taunt. Wow. Has this, like, obviously this isn't necessarily playable on 3, but sometimes like Shaman just sometimes Shaman just has to take chip damage for a couple of turns, and this heals you a full and gives you a taunt. In the early game and later in the game, it can do some sizable healing.
Oh, that's where the priest overheal card went.
Yeah, this is the priest overheal
Yes.
card.
Oops, they put it in Shaman.
Yeah, but you can just identity theft this if Shaman's actually playable. But I mean, I like this card. This card's pretty good. I don't know what Shaman deck's gonna play it, but I think that this could be pretty strong. Even if you're not getting the finale off of it, healing 8 is good.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd give this a 2.
yeah.
I'd call it a 1.
Ouch.
I'm here for a 1. Seems
Shaman
bad.
shambles.
I don't know. Shaman doesn't have healing rain in the core set, so
Do they
this
need
could be
healing rain?
Shaman needs a lot.
I mean, Overload looks like a tempo-y deck. I don't think we need this. But maybe.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we not paying 3 mana for this. 3 mana 3/3. Sometimes, nah.
I'm giving it a 2.
Glad you joined us in the world of realism.
Cobras rise
right.
up.
That's right. All right. How about Jazz Base, the weapon, though?
All right. Next card is the weapon Jazz Base. 3 mana, 2 attack, 2 durability, death rattle. Your spells cost X amount of less. Your next spell costs X amount of less mana, depending on how much you've overloaded. So yeah, discount on next spell improves is a note that was put on here. I like it. I kind of like it. If we're gonna be doing overload stuff, then might as well. This is definitely gonna be playable in that archetype. You can juice this up and make more expensive spells, especially a spell that we haven't gotten to yet that costs a lot. If you can discount that, that'd be pretty fun to play for less mana. I think I'd land on this as a. I think I'd land on it as a 3.
Yeah, I like this as a 3. It's just another support card for the Overload Shaman archetype. It's one of the potentially more important ones in that archetype to try to enable some things. If you get to carry over the mana cheat on the right thing, you can wind up like upgrading this spell with some overload things. Then you swing the death rattle triggers, and maybe you get to copy a bunch of powerful things on the board. So we'll talk about it when we hit that spell. But I think this is an enabler of some possibly actually powerful things. Hopefully, something that brings Shaman back.
It could have been a 3/2 weapon though. 3/2 weapon would have been nice.
Yeah, I agree. 2/2 weapon feels kind of bad on this card.
True.
I think I'm giving it a 2. I don't think it's that
It
good.
should have, yeah, it should have more power. I agree.
I got a 2 on it.
Yeah, I kind of flip-flop between a 2 and a 3. Like, yeah, it feels like it could be really great for Overload, but also if that's really the only deck that is being played in, I don't know how much it is the key support for Overload deck. because I think just some of the other cards, and even some of the stuff from core, is more of a key support for Overload than this one is. So
I feel like, yeah, either this should have been a 3/2,
Yeah.
at least a 3/2, or your next spell should cost 2 less. Also, I think
To
Flow
start
Rider
it.
should have Overload. The fact that it itself does not have Overload is kind of sad. 'Cause
Oh
that would give
no,
more
Yeah.
support.
unless it was gonna be like a 3/4.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna put this down to a 2. I had it as a 3, but I think I'm gonna go down to a 2 on this one. Okay. Next up, we have an elemental.
Wait, just a quick note on
Yes.
Jazz Base. I can't wait for the people, the people who, prep coin concede. I cannot wait for the people that break Jazz Base and then coin, thinking that they're gonna live their
You
best
know it.
life.
Oh no.
100% that happens.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, next card. Brass Elemental. 4 mana, 3/3. Rush, Divine Shield, Taunt, Wind Fury. In his elemental tag, obviously.
Celiax, what happened to your lifesteal?
I like this.
He
I don't
traded it
know.
for Wind Fury.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
He lost the mana for it though.
True.
Yeah. And gain
This kinda-
the health.
This is kind of dope. I,
Yeah, it's kind of dope. Yeah, I kind of like this card.
I give this like a 3. I'm in between 3 and a 4 because like 3/3 Rush Wind Fury Divine Shield is like, I mean, even if you're not rushing
It's
in
got
anything,
Divine Shield. Like,
you just throw it on
yeah.
the board. They have to deal with it.
I
If
like
they
it
have
as a 3. It's not very big, so it's not threatening on its own. It helps you survive, maybe. It helps you pressure a little bit. It's mildly annoying, a comeback tool. Like, it does enough things to be decent, but it isn't like it isn't something that wows me, and it's not something you really can build a deck around either.
Okay,
Yeah.
this guy might not be filling up the stat sheet, but he's got intangibles, man. He's doing the dirty work.
I mean, I could see this as a card to
Just check
see
out
play
his
in
plus
almost any
minus.
deck.
Yeah, the plus minus when he's on the floor is insane because he
Love it.
is consistent. He shows up.
Team player.
Yeah,
Express
just
for loose
okay.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
I'll give it a 2. Maybe playable. Probably not.
What?
Neji just full hate.
Neji's out here coping on this card. I think this card's quite good.
I disagree.
It's like a 6/6.
But it's a 3/3.
It's like a 6/6.
But it's not.
It's like a 6/3. Really.
Yeah, there it is.
But,
there it is.
Yeah, it's like a 6/3. Okay. Party animal. And this. Here we go. Menagerie Shaman. You buff this up. Oh, then we're talking. Let's go. I gave it a 3 though.
Mm-hmm.
What's this?
For which card?
Brass Elemental.
Oh, we're still on brass. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said party animal, and I was like, a different card.
I did. Yeah. Party. Will you play party animal to buff this? Yeah.
What's party animal?
It's a neutral.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It's a neutral that
that buffs type
Oh.
of each minion in your hand with +1/+1.
Oh, is that all it does?
Huh.
Yeah, no, sure. This is a 5.
Yeah.
I was
No,
thinking 3.
it's a
I was
6
thinking
because it's a 6/6.
Listen, Shaman needs all the help it can get. This might be okay for Shaman.
We can use Stereo Totem to give it 2/2. Then it's a 5/5.
Shaman is crying.
All right. Who wants to talk about the next card?
Okay. Next card, Altered Chord, 5 mana nature spell, Lifesteal. Deal 5 damage to a minion. Cost 3 less. Cost 3 less if you're overloaded. Ooh, I like this card. Obviously, we're not playing it for 5 mana because we're gonna play it for 2. But dealing like Shaman. Yeah, like I don't know. This is I feel like this is. Like, I've seen comparisons to Title Surge in chat. Like this just seems better than Title Surge because it's fitting in it fits in an archetype, and it costs less and it does more damage to a minion. That being said, I don't think it's amazing. I like the card. I think it's likely a 2. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I don't think it's good.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
even
think this is pretty
too
good,
thrilled
right?
to run this in Overload Shaman though. Like,
I'm not.
it's okay.
I'm
but
not playing this in Overload Shaman. It's
Not
a
Title
tempo
Surge,
deck.
they said Title League. I don't know.
Ain't
I
no
just-
way.
I just
Ain't
don't
no
think
way
it,
we called the last card good and this one bad. I can't believe this.
I just don't think this one's that great. I'm gonna give it a 2.
That's well, you know what, Neji? I gave them the same. So how's that?
Honestly, I respect that.
They're both 3s, all right? Like I like this one. I think you could still play it in Overload. The thing that I don't like about this one is it's just to a minion. I want to send this baby face. Come on.
Yeah,
if we could go
exactly.
face this would be so good.
Oh, they would have to cut the damage by at least 1 for it to be able to go face. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Deal 5, heal 5 for 2 is. I mean,
Like,
in that sounds like it's cool, but you're overloaded. Like I need to. Yeah, I don't like it. It's just not doing enough.
I don't know. I'm noticing a disturbing lack of actual Overload cards so far. We'll finally get to Overload cards in the last 2 that we're going to talk about, but we just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards that we reviewed for Shaman, and none of them have Overload. Some of them have if you're overloaded.
Yeah, no, Corset has
Yeah.
a decent chunk of them.
Yeah.
So like, where are our Overload cards that make
Four.
this good? What Overload cards do we play that makes this good? Well, they're coming, right? We'll talk about it real soon.
3. I think it's good. I think it's better than the Elemental.
The 1.
We got some hot takes all over the place here.
Love it.
All right.
Yeah,
If it
I mean, we
costs
literally have
4 less.
ancestral knowledge and Zap coming to Corset with Overdraft being in Corset.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty. Like those are all like super. Those are all really good cards. I think ancestral knowledge is even being buffed. I think it used to technically used to overload 2, and now it overloads 1. Which I guess if you're doing with Overdraft is a net negative, but overall it's I would say net positive.
Can I not just play Overdraft for 1 mana? Probably deal enough damage to kill whatever thing. Don't worry about the lifesteal, but I also get to not be overloaded now.
That card's actually gonna still be
it,
around, right? They made it core, even though it was a Stormwind
card.
Yeah.
A lot of the tradables are going to core because tradables evergreen now. Yeah.
That's pretty important.
Yep.
All right. Next one.
Next card is Inza, 5 mana, 5/5. Shaman Legendary Battle Cry. For the rest of the game, your Overload cards cost 1 less. I mean, this is like. I mean, turn 5 to make everything cost 1 less. I mean, I guess it could be good. I'm not the most thrilled about it because I mean, the best for playing it is turn 4 on a coin, but maybe that's good enough. Like, I guess seeing that we're probably not going to win by this point. I think this is like quite an interesting card. I think it's probably a 3 or 4 type of card. I don't know. It's not really format defining, but it's definitely key support.
Yeah.
I give this a 3. I'm a believer in Overload Shaman succeeding, and this card is part of why it could.
This card
next card is really the only reason, though. The next card we'll talk about, and the one that they already have that costs 8. this enables those two.
I will give this a 5.
Ooh.
Oof.
As the great Hunter once said, it's like a Lothar, right? No, I'm joking.
Mhm.
Facts.
Ends it.
So one thing that I've done mistakenly is not given, like, anytime a card says for the rest of the game,
It's pretty good.
I am hesitant to give it a low score because, like,
Yeah.
for the rest of the game is an indefinite amount of time. So, and then mana reduction over the course of the rest of the game seems pretty good. So I'm gonna give it a 4 because I think it could be pretty strong.
The tempo
Yeah.
loss of playing this card on 5 is probably why we have Chill Vibes and Altered Chord.
But we're not playing those cards, so it's okay. We'll just
then,
Yeah.
then
we'll
we
get
might
the
die if
tempo
we
back.
play this one without those.
We'll get the tempo back by cheating mana. Is what we'll do.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But like this, sure, for the rest of the game seems great, but man, it's going to be so inconsistent, right? It's a legendary. You only have one. You have to draw it and then play it before you get that effect. So in some games, you're also not going to be able to play this until you only have like 4 cards left in your deck. And like, I don't know, that just feels terrible. Like I don't know. I like the overload stuff, but I don't really like this. You might try it, but I'm giving this a 2.
But how do you like overload cards, but not a card that makes every overload card cheaper?
Because it's inconsistent, and you can't, like, there's no tag on it, right? It's not a beast, it's not an elemental, so there's not even going to be a way to tutor it specifically. Like, I don't know.
We can't tutor Ziliax either, but
You
we're
can't,
not gonna call it
there's very
inconsistent.
limited
Like,
tutor
we're
in the
playing it.
game, so saying that just
Yeah, but
like
Ziliax is flexible. This, like, you're only playing this with overload stuff. That's it. You're not playing this in just any shaman deck.
oh, of
Oh
course.
yeah, that's why I gave
Dude,
it a
this is-
3 because
you're
it
not
enables
depending
it very well.
This is a support card in the archetype, absolutely.
Like, it makes the deck that much better. X amount of mana better.
But like you
So, like,
have
if
to
you don't draw
have
it-
to get this for that effect though. Like if you don't, it's just pointless. Like who cares? You're still paying all your regular mana. I don't know. I think it's
Then what is-
inconsistent.
Then is the deck not? So you're saying the deck is not good unless you can reduce the mana costs? Because you're saying Overload Shaman is good.
Yeah.
If Overload Shaman is decent enough to play, then you obviously play the card that reduces the cost of
Sure.
the cards. And if you don't draw it,
But
the
I think the
is
deck will be
already good
fine
enough to
without
function,
this. Like I
Absolutely,
don't give a
which is why
crap
it's a
about playing
support.
this.
which is why it's great.
Well,
It's
that would
the-
make him win more. That would kind of make it win more, right?
Yes.
I like it. I think it's good. And he looks cool. Look
No,
at
like
him.
the card. No, like the card's absolutely cool, and it's a good
Looks cool.
card.
Insta
Absolutely.
golden.
I think it is in the middle of what you guys are saying. Like I think that this card can be very important with some of the, well, really just the one major card that we really want in Overload Shaman. The reason we're playing Overload Shaman, it's the next card we're going to talk about. That's the reason this card is playable
Yes.
at all.
Exactly.
It's the reason the
Wait.
archetype is playable.
All right. Well, let's talk
Yeah,
about
I'm giving this thing a 2 after everything's been said.
there you go. No, she just kind of sat
Excited.
back and chilled and was like,
Yeah,
"All right."
I was like, I'll
there you go.
listen. I don't think it's that good. It's like
I'm excited for the next
playable-ish.
one.
All right.
Here we go.
Next one.
Okay. Next card is Jive Insect. 5 mana. Fire spell. Transform a minion into Ragnaros the Fire Lord.
With overload of 2.
It's an
So
Overload
cool.
2 card. It's a very cool card. It's so cool. Is this actually that broken? Like, is it that good?
No.
No, Shaman
I-
sucks, so it's not.
I think this card, I think the atmosphere around this card is absolutely worth of a 5. The
Who's
card
ready for this to come out a jackpot?
It
Stop.
No.
I'm not, like,
Can we server mute Ron for a minute? It's a timeout.
like I don't know. I think this card is like not amazing. I think the other card that relates to that is I think that this other one would be better. The other card that I think works with the weapon, if you can really
So
cheat.
if we're running a survival shell and we have
Yeah.
something like Chill Vibes and
It's
Altered
definitely
Chord,
this
and
is
we play
definitely like worth
Inza
being in a
and we
survival
play
shell.
the jazz bass, we have ways to discount things to make this cheaper or the follow-up cheaper. What you want to do with Jive Insect is play it with Criminal lineup.
Yes.
You play Jive Insect and then you play Criminal lineup on the same turn, and you have 4 Ragnarai? Whatever.
Yeah, like
You have
Ragnarosis.
4 gigantic minions that are sending
I'm-
crazy damage.
I'm not gonna
and
pin my hopes on that.
that's the thing. It is
Yeah.
That's the combo.
reasonably potentially playable because of multiple ways to discount mana. But this card is good on its own because you can just play it on turn 5 in any board flood deck. Like I call this a 4. I think it's very strong. I think it goes into multiple Shaman decks. If you're playing Shaman and you're not playing this card, please reassess your decisions.
Yeah, I think you just jam this in, whatever shaman. It makes your opponent go, oh, I have to deal with that totem because it's turn 4, and they could Jive Insect the totem.
And this card is the reason I gave Inza a 3 and not a 2 or a 1.
Yeah, I think this card is good. It's like you just throw it in an aggro deck or whatever deck, and you flood the board, and then you attack with your thing, and then you turn it into a Ragnaros, and they're sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better in an aggro shaman, a board flooding shaman, a Murloc shaman than it is in like Overload. Maybe Overlord is still just garbage as an archetype, but like this card is good.
Yeah, honestly, after talking about the shaman cards, I've lowered all my overload cards.
No.
Overload shaman is just not it. This card is cool, but yeah, I'm no longer a believer. I'll give this a 4 though. I think it's good.
Yeah,
Nah,
I
I
put it
don't
as
know.
a 4 too.
I'll wait to see. I'm not fully convinced that this card's gonna be that amazing in the long run. All right, Pack the House, 7 mana spell, summon a random 6/5/4 and 3 cost minion, and it overloads for 2. I think this is a card for Shaman that, especially that I think this card is quite good for the fact that it gives Shaman a board, and that is something that Shaman desperately needs most of the time. And just like you can cheat the other stuff, you can cheat this too. Obviously it's not as good as the higher of like cheating to the point where we can get a bunch of Ragnaroses on the board, but I think it's more consistent. We do have convincing disguise. We have blazing transmutation. Like we have muck pools. There's ways to do stuff with this. This is pretty cool. Like obviously playing it for 7 mana is not great, but we're not going to generally play it for 7 mana if we're going to be able to cheat it, especially with the weapon.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool card. I give it a 3 because I was
Yeah.
possibly coping on all of Overload Shaman, but
this is
like
yeah,
this one
this
also
isn't an overload. I don't think this goes in an overload shaman deck.
this also
as much.
works like pretty well with other shaman tools that we already have. Like this
Yeah.
might be a summon a random 8/7/6/5 for 8 mana because you could just pair it with an infused convincing disguise or something.
Yep.
That'd be one of the main combos you're going to want to do with this. But it's cool. You can do some things, and obviously it does. Like Overload Shaman will definitely run this because they're going to want to have Overload payoff cards that
Yeah.
they'll have discounted.
Yep.
I like this card because I like cards that do stuff like this. I don't know why. I have a thing for 'em. This is neat. I think it's like a 3, somewhere between a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
Solid.
I would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
that's
is a
been
lot of
sitting there.
stats. I think it's actually decent. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I had mine at a 2 and bumped it up to a 3. Yeah, kind of same thoughts. It's like There's a lot of different potentials with this one. I think is why I bumped it from a 2 to a 3.